Each and every week, we speak to multiple charities from Share Detroit that are supported on their platform at sharedetroit.com about all the sharedetroit.org, my apologies, but all the great things they're doing to support a number of different people in our communities. Joining us now is one organization that's working to strengthen mental health resources for young people all across this our local area. Karla Truxall is the founder of SPN Survivors and joins us now on the Megacast. Karla, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you on. First of all, just give us a little bit of a background and tell us about the mission of SPN Survivors.
Well, our mission is to engage and equip communities to strengthen mental health, to prevent suicide among teens and young adults. And how we got here is because my husband and I lost our nephew to suicide back in 2010. And his death ripped a hole through my heart and shattered my world. And it was a very traumatic loss for me, and I was not okay. And it within a couple months, I knew that that I needed help, that I needed something, but I didn't know what that was called, who to ask, where to turn. I remember doing a half-hearted Google search, but I didn't even know what words to use. So unfortunately, that led to my suffering in silence for 2 years until a TV show of all things, Supernatural, and a convention more specifically that helped open my eyes that I needed counseling. And out of that journey, my husband and I realized we needed to take our loss and pay it forward to help others. So that's how SPN Survivors got started. My husband and I thought we were just building a website to shine a spotlight on resources. We had no idea we were starting a nonprofit, but thanks to the TV show and the fandom of Supernatural, they they had other ideas, because I had reached out to the company that puts on the conventions and asked if I could have a table in the vendor's room. I said, I don't have a thing to sell. I just have a conversation I want to start. And I did that in March of 2015. And I had no idea that Jared Padalecki, one of the lead actors of Supernatural, was launching an Always Keep Fighting campaign. And that happened 10 days before that convention that I had that first table at. And so I had no idea he was doing that. He had no idea there was going to be a mental health presence there. And the energy in the room that weekend was incredible. And what we realized is that there are people suffering in silence all around us. And you just don't know it because you're not talking about it. And our table gave people permission to talk about things they normally don't talk about. It was a safe space to open up. And it just really opened our eyes to the need that was out there. And so when we went home, I remember telling my husband, we got to get registered. We got to get legit. This is going places, because the fandom was just like, yes, please. So we got the advice to take a year to figure out what it is we wanted to do. So we started out as a business charity and then became a nonprofit in April of 2016.
And so where did that go from that day in 2015 you were mentioning and all those conversations you had with fans at that convention and just on mental health and then that 1 year of thinking over and deciding where you're going to go with this with SPN Survivors, where did that ultimately lead you in terms of the resources that you're continuing to provide, but also those services that are connecting individuals to strengthen mental health at a community grassroots level?
I have the fans to thank for all of this. We've let everything kind of grow and develop organically. So after that first convention, um, I got the idea that we needed to come up with something tangible that people could, because we use our senses to self-soothe. So we wanted something tangible, something that was visual, something that you could hold to help you during your struggles. And we came up with stuffed animals. We called them battle buddies. And moose and squirrel are a given because those are reference to the characters in the show. And then we've developed 5 other ones around that. But when we first introduced those, the fandom is full of teachers and mental health professionals, and they took those animals, they took them to work and used them with their students and with their clients, and then gave us feedback on how that was working, the impact they were having, and that gave us the idea then to create comfort kits. So we started reaching out to the social workers and hospital ERs and schools and other places, and developed a comfort kit to support people who are struggling. So that's one of the resources that we provide. And then the fact that I had to work so hard to find the help that I needed, we will always be shining a spotlight on the other nonprofits that are out there, the other organizations that are there to support people. So we have 4x6 cards that we have one for Wayne County, we have one for Oakland County, we have one for the Lansing area, and then we have a nationwide one. But all of that has come to life because of those conversations that we have when we go out in the community, whether it's a table at a fandom convention or anywhere locally. We take all that information that we learn from talking to people and find ways to pay it forward to help others.
You can find more information by visiting spnsurvivors.org, spnsurvivors.org, or by going to sharedetroit.org, going to the Find a Nonprofit section and just searching for SPN Survivors. We're joined on the Megacast today by the founder of SPN Survivors, Karla Truxall, on today's program. And Karla, I want to go over another great effort that you're doing. It's called the AKF Squad. Tell us about the AKF Squad. It's one of the many different initiatives that has been undertaken by your organization, and give us a little bit of a background on this particular one.
So that the AKF Squad is, we realized early on that there was a gap in education, I guess, that a lot of people use the terms mental health and mental illness interchangeably, and they're not the same. So we realized there needed to be an education component, and we started out the AKF Squad being that education piece. But then somewhere in there, we realized our battle buddies, they had people really connected with those. And so they became our messengers of mental health. And once we got the idea to bring those to life, the stuffed animals to life through illustration and give them names and occupations and assigned them a healthy coping skill and a building block, they have become the AKF Squad. So the AKF Squad has kind of developed organically and shifted a little bit over the last few years. But we are creating card sets. It's kind of for the animals. It's kind of like a Pokemon meets baseball card. So we've created a card set introducing those to create simple, easy to understand language for parents to use with kids, teachers with students, or therapists with client using the animals. And then we've created a card set for the building blocks. And then we're working on the card set for the coping skills, which we're using music as the theme for that. So the AKF Squad is in my opinion, a really cool creative endeavor that we're using. And we have a lot of people who are excited about what we're creating because we're taking that same content and creating a mental health coloring book with it as well. And we're looking forward to getting that all done and out there so we can share it with everyone.
It's important too to have that educational element because there are so many different ways that people can suffer from different mental health issues, so many different mental illnesses also that can affect people in a number of different ways. And sometimes that the education is not only important to recognize these sorts of issues that may be present in somebody else, or recognize somebody else may be suffering in silence, as you had mentioned earlier on. It's also important so that people can look internally as well and take that self inventory and maybe come to the realization that maybe they need to have some of these conversations and seek some help themselves. So it's really important that we have those sorts of resources. spnsurvivors.org is the website for more information. And Karla, we've got a couple more minutes with you, but before I let you go, what is one thing, or what are a couple things that you really wish people knew or had more knowledge about mental health and about ways that they can not only look internally but also externally to others and help people in their community?
Well, the first piece is understanding what mental health is. Like I said, the terms mental health and mental illness get used interchangeably a lot. And so we like to point out that just like physical health is not the same as physical illness, you do things every day to take care of your physical health to avoid having physical illnesses, and the same can be done for your mental health. So we have a definition that we landed on for what mental health is. And so this is one of our things that we try to communicate with people everywhere we go. And that is that mental health affects how you feel, how you think, and how you behave as you cope with life. It determines how you handle stress, how you relate to others, how you make choices and perform at work, at school. So in a nutshell, mental health is everyday living. And that's become one of our taglines, is that everyone has mental health. You can't go through a day without it impacting your mental health. And so just having that basic understanding and then having the tools to understand what you can do to better manage your mental health. Because I talk with my hands a lot. So we always say, if this is crisis over here, there's so much we can do way back here to make a difference so people don't get to crisis. And we really want to focus on those early stages to make a difference there.
More information, spnsurvivors.org, as well as ways you can get involved and support them in all their efforts throughout our local area. Karla, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.